Well, if you wanted honesty, you've come to the wrong place. This is the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Jon.
And I'm Michael.
And Jon, we have a glorious, glorious guest today to commemorate 1 year, 52 inglorious episodes of this salty little podcast. So, give everybody an introduction to the great god that's going to be joining us.
I mean, how do you intro this man, this myth, this legend? In some corners he's known as Slow Mobius, in other corners he's known as Polecat Supreme, but no one can beat the infamous Dwan Johnson.
Hello.
I don't want anyone to beat Dwan either, so let's just keep that known. How are you doing,
No
sir?
one can. Doing good. Thanks to be here, man. I'm ready.
We're elated to have you, and we're going to try to keep it somewhat interesting here. So, gentlemen, I wasn't entirely certain how we were going to go down memory lane here this evening. It's, we could have done the full ladies and germaphobes intro. We could have thrown on the by the Robotham.
I'm just gonna. Are we stepping on each other's?
Yeah, it's gonna happen
already.
Oh, I just think it's really, really awesome that we've had a video guest before on the After Dark segment, which we do after the show wraps on YouTube. But we've never actually had a proper guest for a full-length audio episode. So, Dwan, you win. You are
as proper as it gets.
I know, right? But anyway, Shane, you were saying before I rudely cut you off.
Well, I didn't throw in the by the eternal, and I don't know if we want to celebrate that. There's just so many ways that we can hit our touchstones and our callbacks to our previous episodes, or we could just not note that at all and just go forward.
I kind of like
do it all.
Yeah, I kind of like taking the approach of like Breaking Bad, where Breaking Bad's first season was 6 episodes, and then it wasn't until season 2 where you're like, oh shit, now I know what this show's about.
Yeah.
What season was it where the girl threw up and died?
Season 2. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
We actually just had a girl throw up who works with dead people on the last episode. So.
Oh fuck! I forgot to get Kristen to send me the clip because Kristen.
Call back.
Kristen texted me after listening to last week's episode. She goes, "I'm pretty sure I have that video still." And I was like, "Can you please fucking find that in one day and send it to me?" Because I would just hold the phone up to the microphone just to get that clip. But we are very good at planting seeds and then paying it off later, as I've learned this week on some research. Don't look at me that way.
Some of us are good
seeds.
about planting seeds. Some of us avoid it like the plague. But since we're on the topic of your sister, Jon, and
Planting seeds.
not to get Dwan too excited,
Don't get me in trouble.
if I have proven nothing over the course of my life, it's that when I get into the end zone, I'm spiking the fucking football. So, who was it that enjoys the My Immortal readings, Jon? What was this? What was that? About that segment of the episode you've been apologizing over for the last month and a half?
Now
Suddenly it's everybody's favorite thing?
Now, before I address the sore winner in the room,
Yes.
let me just go ahead and preface it by saying that Kristen has finally listened to the podcast, and she said that it was a lot of fun. She likes the fact that Michael's a punching bag.
Jesus.
It comes with the territory. It's fine.
He's used to it.
It's a living.
Shut up and get back in your box,
But
you
she
gimp.
she requested to know when the My Immortal fanfic readings began. But also, let's take a quick second to acknowledge that mentally she's not in her right state of mind. She works in healthcare right now, so she's encumbered. So she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And she's also not the only one in that family that suffers from that, I'm afraid.
Oof.
I don't have any excuses. I'm just fucked.
Also, when y'all say My Immortal, it seems like y'all are about to start talking about Maya Moore, the WNBA star.
Wait.
Well, I mean,
I was like,
it's possible.
oh,
I don't know anything about this. Shane, do you know anything about
the queen of the hockey assist? Yes, we're all around.
the best soccer player ever.
Yes,
I am so lost, but okay, yeah, I accept it.
I was going to say, if we really want to get truly divergent on paths here, Dwan and I can just sit and talk about the Suns' victory yesterday for a good 40 to 45 minutes.
John doesn't know what a Devin Booker is.
I actually do know. Isn't Booker the guy that looks like he's dead inside? Like he has like shark eyes. Like he looks like a fucking.
He's
serial
dating
killer.
Kendall Jenner.
Okay, then yeah, he's definitely dead inside.
I mean, I have really enjoyed just the sheer volume of slander that the Suns had enjoyed. Where like, well, them and the Wizards, everybody's just going to pound them into sand over the course of this. And it's like, oh, they're 3-0. Oh, they beat the Clippers? Oh, I'm sorry.
They're going to find a way to screw it up, though. We all know this.
I mean, always. I have to take the victories when they happen, because if you don't celebrate the little things, we're just going to start, driving ourselves into cliffs.
Yeah, and the world being on fire, you remember, Dwan, when we were working together. By the way, to the listeners who don't know, Dwan and I met through an anonymous sex website. No, it
was love at first sight.
Dwan and I were coworkers at Bottle Shop 48 before the world got set on fire, and also Dwan finally got the call to a job he's been waiting for a long time. Which, by the way, congratulations again, Dwan. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Authentically.
Pimping that easy.
Anyway, I was working a shift at Bottle Shop, and we had sports on in the background, we had basketball in the background, and some guy just kept talking about how well the fucking Suns were doing, and I arbitrarily in that moment decided to try and follow the NBA season from that point on and root for the Suns, because at that point they'd beat the Lakers. At the start of the season they were doing really, really well, just like you're saying right now, Shane. Mm-hmm. And it didn't take me a long time to realize why Suns fans get so bitter.
It's a roller coaster ride, yeah.
Well, here's what's even funnier is it was so cute seeing John put on sports. He's like, guys, can we put on the Suns game? He don't know shit about basketball. No. Or then during college football season, he'll be like, can we watch USC? It's like, who are they playing? I don't know, but Becky likes it.
It's like when
it's a blowout. He's like, whatever.
When your girlfriend walks into the room with like a pizza and a beer and a negligee, and she's like, I know you've had a really hard day. It's like, okay, how much money do I need to give you? Let's just get this out of the way.
Pretty much.
And what's funny is, since we're talking about origin stories, Dwan and I met in an entirely different fashion, but we met through my favorite website, blackpeoplemeet.com.
We did.
Oh, jeez.
I looked and said, he doesn't look black. And it's like, well, some people think I'm Spanish, so we're both passing, I guess. I don't know, but yeah.
As we've said, I thought it was a cannibalism site when I signed up, and I was just really disappointed by the time I left.
And now you have a black friend.
I'm all the better for it, my friend. But I still managed to get the Black People Meet, and that's why we're very close friends. Sorry, true. Renee. Very sorry.
Oh my god.
She understands. She knows who I am.
Man, I wish I had a cool story for how I met Dwan. He was probably just yelling at me that I'm too drunk at Bottle Shop.
Yeah. I'll have another stout.
I bet Dwan has cut you off, Michael, more than I ever have.
Oh,
Probably.
100%.
Yeah.
Give him that look. You guys know what's funny is there's a show called Indian Matchmaker.
Oh my god, yes.
Have you watched it?
No, but it's I've literally heard so much about it at this point that I don't need to.
Well, there's a character that I swear to God, me and Renee, as soon as he stepped on the scene, was like, that reminds me of Mike. And like to a T, his mannerisms, the way he speaks.
No.
He's a smart dude, he's an educator. And he looks like you, he talks like you, except he has a little bit more melanin. That is it.
Also, I would assume that his parents are probably having as much difficulty getting him married as, Michael is having presently.
Michael had his chances.
Ooh. Oh, man. It's getting hot in here.
I know that we're super early into the episode yet, but it's just really nice having my tastemaker involved in the show, because I didn't know what was cool and what wasn't cool until I met Dewan.
He was always trying to put on some noodly nonsense, and I'm like, yo, my man, check this out. It's just a guitar and a dream, and he wouldn't listen to it. He would still put on his noodly nonsense, but we found common ground. I got him hip to a lot of stuff. He never knew about Jason Isbell before me.
Shane. I'm very happy that you introduced him to Coheed and Cambria. I mean,
I did.
I'm very pleased that you got him around to that.
Before that, it was all Steve Miller Band, and that's it.
He's just had Frankenstein on a loop for 47 weeks.
I was like, John, come on, man, you gotta play something else. And then he put on like Bad Company or something. I'm like, ah.
I'm also really pleased that you managed to talk John off of the ledge once, Geddy Lee finally shuffled loose of the mortal coil. Because I know Rush was basically John's only for at least a 4-year
John,
period.
we have a great story. Do you want to tell the story?
We do have a story. Oh my God,
no.
we were. Until he said that, I didn't even realize that it was you and I working together that night, because the beautiful.
Let it never be said, I don't know how to fucking segue on my own podcast, sir.
You do a very good job, Shane.
Thank you.
The best.
I've talked about this 100 times since this COVID stuff, but the main thing that I miss about like bar culture and the culture that we have over at Bottle Shop is just the immense amount of shit talking that we were granted. Like it was basically 80% of the job was knowing how to talk shit, and I really, really miss that. That being said, wear a mask, stay home, don't be a fucking maniac. Still, because as predicted, we did the wrong thing for months and months and months. That being said, back in the day, Michael, his former roommate, and how to describe what this fellow looks like. You're friends with him still, right?
Yes. He helped
Not
me
after
move.
this.
How would you describe how he looks?
Like a Rush fan?
Like me, I guess.
Wait, Dwan, what'd you say?
Like a Rush fan?
Yeah, he's a big Rush fan.
You know what?
You can
I
use
got
that
it.
as a good description.
And
Sure.
Randis has some really good ideas.
Michael, here, you're gonna like this.
Ugh.
You're gonna like this, and you're not used to me complimenting you.
Oh no, I don't think I can handle
He
it.
kind of looks like the RC Cola version of you.
Oh, jeez.
We can't afford that $3, so you can get that $1.50 joint.
You're Dr. Pepper and he's Mr. Pibb. You know what I mean? Actually, that's
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb's better.
Anyway, he's the
Colt 45, Michelob Ultra, what? Where?
But so
yeah, better not make fun of Paps.
we only drink hams in this podcast.
I only get a Pabst smear, thank you.
There he goes.
It is a Saturday night or a Friday night. Dewan and I are working together. We're behind the bar. Michael, his roommate, and the RC Cola Michael are all sitting in the immediate row in front of us. And before we started our shift, the news came out that Neil Peart, right?
Neil Peart.
Yeah,
Neil
that
Peart.
Neil Peart had passed away. And neither Dewan or I were Rush fans. I'm still not a Rush fan.
Lies.
Yeah.
And the most annoying thing throughout the entire shift were the smattering of people that were like, you should put on Rush because Neil Peart died. And Dewan
And
and
there's
I...
a bunch of neckbeards, too. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't even, like, cool people.
And it was people that otherwise that they don't listen to Rush every day. Like they're not. It's not important to their lives in any way, shape, or form. They just want to try and flex and like pretend to be engaged in the current topic. And both Dewan and I kind of have like a typeset response, and it's one of my favorites where they'd say that they'd be like, "You should put on some Rush tonight because Neil Peart died." And we're like, "Nah, man, we like good music, thanks." Or my favorite from Dewan is like, "Yeah, put $10 in that tip jar." You know, like.
I'll play whatever you want.
Yeah, you get one shot at the radio if you throw $10 in the tip jar.
I like it.
And I don't remember. You can probably take it over here from here to one, but I just remember that RC Cola Mike was getting peripherally all the things that we were saying against Neil Peart and against Rush, and throughout the course of the night and the course of the beers running through him, got a little more and more upset.
So he's obviously kind of irritated, and everybody is kind of like, I want to play this song. We just kept shutting that shit down. And he was just like, hey, man, I'm a huge Rush fan. And he kind of does like this, like pointing at his shirt.
Yeah, because he probably had a Rush shirt.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I have a band shirt on too, but we're listening to Dave Matthews right now. I don't know what to say. We might not have been listening to Dave Matthews, but
probably were.
Yeah.
Probably were. It was either that or Tuxedo. And I'm like, yo, my man, just I don't know, go home and play it, or I'll play it in a little bit. But right now it's Rush time, and funny enough, it was
Zing.
It was the busy time, and just didn't want to hear that shit. Like a bunch of noodly bass playing, weird vocals and lyrics, and nah, man. I'll play it around 8 or 9 o'clock. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. Why did this dude damn near start crying and then try and dry snitch to the manager? The manager ends up putting it on, and we're like, all right, so you get this one song. Do you feel satisfied? Because we're going to change it right after this song is over.
Yeah,
congrats. You didn't even get to hear a good song.
Yeah, you had XYZ.
You asked the one lady who don't know shit about nothing as far as music goes to to play a song. I know enough about Rush. I know I don't like it, but I would at least be able to throw you like at least a 10-minute live version of some hype shit. But no, you had a bad attitude. So guess what you get? A damn near interlude.
I love it.
And that's what he got. He was so mad.
Yeah, and that's another cool thing. And it's where, when getting to know you better, Dewan, you started reminding me of Shane. So it's nice to have you two in the same room. Your guys' knowledge on deep cuts and like little like Snapple facts on bands and music, even outside of the genres that you listen to, are astounding to me.
Agreed.
Well, you have to admit it. I do know about all the music.
You basically invented
pretty much,
music.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play any instruments. I can't carry a tune, but hey,
you play my heart every week.
Sad music, and I can listen to sad music with the best of them. So it's kind of all that matters.
I am most certainly the RC Cola version of Dewan.
if I played an instrument at any level.
Well, we're starting a punk band soon.
We are. Actually, it's going to be a hardcore punk band.
Yeah,
we're not just doing. It's going to be to the vein of Simple Plan, kind of like a I don't know, good Charlotte kind of deal.
It's all about PMA, baby.
Some MCR as well. Sure, if we want to throw that in.
We're
Michael.
Me and John are going to start a punk band. It's going to be kind of like the vein of a H2O or just like that, like New York hardcore shit. And it's just going to be all about that positive attitude.
PMA, baby.
I got PMA, baby. I got John hip to that shit not too long ago.
Shane and Michael, you might like this because so I know the first CD that I ever bought with my own money. And I've told Dewan this. I'm pretty sure I've told Shane this too, but it was 9 Days, The Madding Crowd.
Okay.
You know, Michael, do you know This is the story of a girl?
Yeah.
That was the first album I ever bought with my own money.
Don't try to educate the man about 9 Days. He knows 9 Days.
So I told Dewan this one night, and you probably have the Snapple fact already in your head. You're like, oh yeah, those guys already had this other band before 9 Days, and it was a pretty good band. And then they went and did 9 Days.
They were the backing band for what's my man's name? Ben Folds.
I had no idea, but anyway. So I promise this is leading here. The second CD I bought with my own money was Newfound Glory's Sticks and Stones. And and Sticks and Stones and Newfound Glory, I kind of treated like a moped band for a long time, where I was embarrassed to like them. Dewan taught me it's not embarrassing to like Simple Plan because it's just hardcore disguised as pop.
They just I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of pop punk bands where especially if you hear them in interviews, they're like, "Oh, dude, I was 100% a hardcore kid, but I had these emotions," or "I was a hardcore kid, but the singer wanted to sing about girls, and the guitar player liked pop punk, so we did that, and I'm a hardcore guitar player, so I'll play with this." And yeah, man, it was. You listen to New Found Glory, and it's poppy because the singer likes pop stuff, but hey, man, that Chad Gilbert fella get a mean breakdown going.
Well, it's also all downhill from there.
Now, seriously, after getting that knowledge, if you listen back, and I've listened back to Sticks and Stones a bunch now, the guitar in particular in that album, and like if you just remove the vocals, it's heavy as fuck,
dude. Yeah.
So I would implore you, please, if you haven't, just go listen to it again.
Everyone, go listen to New Found Glory in an hour or two. Don't do it now.
Let's also, since we're dialed in here, I also remember the first CDs that I ever purchased. So if we're going to start outing ourselves,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's a fun way. Michael's, I'm sure, is going to be riveting.
Oh, yes.
Now that's what I call Music 6.
Oh,
the Dungeons and Dragons.
Excuse me, it had
soundtrack.
to have been the first one.
It is the Beer Barrel Polka as performed by Chubby Heifer and the Midnight Machachas, I believe. So
you give too much credit there.
The first CD I ever bought was in Phoenix. We were on a trip. I snagged Counting Crows, Recovering the Satellites, because my brother had August and Everything After, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to grab this because it came out that day. So I got exceedingly excited. And then a week later, I was in a drugstore in the White Mountains, and not one of the hep drugstores like you read about. But I snagged the Dave Matthews Band Crash as my second.
Yeah.
So because I had caught the video for Too Much was on VH1 probably like the week prior to that. And I went, I like this band. This is very interesting. And then went like whole hog on Dave Matthews from that point forward.
Nice.
To the extent
Nothing wrong with that.
my high school guitar, which John performed on stage with, has got the Fire Dancer logo on one of the upper segments. So
I do remember that.
That's what you get to live with. So, Duwan, since you are the guest here, we'll keep Michael to the last so that we can, just try to not retch when we get to it.
Fair.
Yeah, right. So, the first one I actually remember buying, like with my own money, was The Bizarre Ride to the Far Side by The Far Side. And outside of the song that was like really rad and everybody knew, Passing Me By, it was a pretty crazy album that pretty much was just like, if you smoked a bunch of weed, you would love it. But I was 10 years old and didn't smoke any weed. So I was just like, oh, all these songs I get zero reference, but it's cool. And then after that, I kind of went down a weird spiral of like, you guys probably don't remember. There's a song called Gangsterlean that, it's a cool song, but it was like an urban top 10 hit kind of deal.
Okay. Sounds like a Fred Green song.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, it's a real cheesy song that was a hit in like 91, 92. But the rest of the album was just like the most gangster R&B I've ever heard in my life. Like, to the point where like me and my brother are trying to listen to it now, and it's so just mean and evil and just wrong. Like, there's like just all this stuff they're talking about. I'm like, how did my parents let me listen to this shit? We were listening to like MC Ren and early Scarface and Ghetto Boys and like early 3-6 Mafia and like all this shit. They're just like talking about the most insane stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. I promise I won't sing the songs. That's all my dad cared about. It's like, if I catch you singing these songs and whatever, but we can listen to it. Oof.
So you'll appreciate this because I had my real Michael Bolton moment the other day. I'm in the front yard, and on my Spotify nonsense that I've got going these days, I've just been adding on stuff that I haven't listened to in a long time. So The Chronic is on there, and then I started listening to America's Most Wanted. Now, the strangest thing in the world is being the weird, skinhead white dude who's raking leaves in his front yard.
Hold on, we got to say that's Ice Cube, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
for those that don't know.
And I'm sitting here cackling to myself where I was going, like, in the middle of, the suburban Phoenix neighborhood that I'm functioning in, where I'm over here listening to Cube talk about what payback is. And I'm like...
and mind you, that was the era where everybody was, like, mad militant, and everybody was just on, like the Black Power tip, but it was more than just, like, it was, like, more of a black nationalist kind of thing. So these cats were talking about a lot of, like, just let's fuck up Whitey, my man. Like, and mind you, we're kids.
Like, angry, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Cube's a genius.
Like, I totally
that
agree.
album is like one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a weird side story here. We'll get back onto. Melissa and I were watching. Mostly, I was watching, and Melissa was in the room. I threw Straight Outta Compton on the other day just because I hadn't seen it in a minute.
Movie.
And I had a totally life-altering experience when I watched this. And John's probably heard this story previously, but I know Michael hasn't. So I went to see Straight Outta Compton the week that it came out, but I was working an odd schedule at the time, so I went in on a Friday morning, because I was off on Fridays and Saturdays. So the theater was completely empty.
What's a theater?
Hello. Not these days, unfortunately. So I'm sitting in the front row of the back section, kind of relaxing and waiting for this stuff to go on. And, of course, a gaggle of 5 other folks come in, and they all sit 2 seats away from me in the same row. So we're in a completely empty theater.
No social distancing.
God.
Furthermore...
Yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. Put on a mask.
And now, just, since, I've obviously shown I have absolutely no qualms about touching interesting issues, so... this is a gaggle of African Americans, or as Dewan would have me say, this is some black folks, and I'm sitting here like an albino at the Apollo. So it's 5 black folks and me watching Straight Outta Compton. Now Melissa enjoys poking at me because I ride the roller coaster with movies. I cry at the drop of a hat. Like, I experience every emotion. I fully invest. So when they get to the no Vaseline scene, as the rest of the guys are sitting around listening, I am cracking up because I'd forgotten just how many zingers exist in that song, and watching everybody kind of just bear the discomfort, and particularly once Yella's kind of in that state of like, gotta admit, shit's kind of funny. And so I'm having the moment where I look across the aisle, and the gentleman who is sitting, the 2 seats close to me, kind of looks at me and gives me, the little nod, and we're just laughing together. I'm like, oh, it's a nice shared experience, and we're both enjoying the film. And so, yeah, this is how blasted Caucasian Shane is. So I have to
Caucasian Shane.
I have to sidebar to say that at the same time this is happening, my mother is in Texas with my sister and some other folks, and she's in a quick trip. She is purchasing like $40 worth of material because my mother cannot leave a place without getting diabetes again. So she's handed the gentleman cash to pay for the drinks, but she's talking a mile a minute to everybody else in the room, and she turns around and the gentleman is like this. Now, for the listeners at home, you're not going to see this, but the gentleman's holding his hand out to her. And my mother, of course, not missing a beat, turns and fist bumps him. And he, of course, says, "This is your change."
Right, my man.
My mother, being my mother, daps again, and she goes like, "Well, this is how we do it in Arizona," and hits him, and then so.
Oh God!
So this is my mother.
You got it.
Smooth.
If you're gonna do it, at least commit, right? So
yeah, exactly.
She's not gonna admit defeat there. That's
to the nines. So cut back to her son at this exact same moment is sitting in a movie theater in Phoenix, Arizona, and we get to Easy in the hospital, dying of AIDS. And I have completely come undone. There is snot actually dribbling out of my nose. I'm like ugly crying, and like the kids talk about these days. I'm like, and I turn, and the gentleman sitting next to me is rolling a tear. And he and I are both experiencing this, and I'm going, dear God, I'm crying at this movie. But it really was a touching scene, and it's tragic. The excesses finally catching up. And so as this is happening, we kind of lock eyes, and he reaches out and he extends the hand. So we fist bump
down by
across
law.
the aisle. And I left that movie where I'm going like, what a weird avenue cinema is, that it can allow two people who we'd never met before in our lives. You know, I don't know him, he does not know me, but we're sitting here. And the funniest thing of the whole thing is we're crying over a man who banged so many hoes in his own parlance that he contracted AIDS and is dying from it, but yet he and I are sharing this tearful, touching moment with one another over the tragedy of the loss of life there. But it's a strange, situation to experience.
He did win the war, though, between him and Dr. Dre on the songs. Real Motherfucking Cheese is way doper than whatever the hell Dr. Dre came out with.
Bitches ain't shit, as they say.
That is the jam, though.
It is.
You can't play.
Yes.
You can't play that around your girlfriend, though. That'd be. Oof.
I'll do the Ben Folds version.
Yeah,
and
make it
goes
sexy.
over a little better. Yes.
Nah, they did that back in 2000. We don't do that no more.
All right.
Y'all got in trouble. Y'all did too much with that one.
Yeah, I'm very content without the edgy pop goes like rap goes pop compilations. I'm good without good without that now.
The good old pop goes acoustic.
Since we can't go
Been there, done that.
Yeah, since we can't go an episode without disparaging Sam, our violinist.
Oh.
Hey Sam.
Oh, she doesn't listen, so she's never going to hear it. She's been a guest on the show twice on the video chat.
She's subscribed to it. Has never heard 5 minutes.
Damn.
So 6 years ago when I met Sam and we were, getting to know each other by getting drunk with each other, I don't know if it was almost every other time she would play Say Anything doing a cover. I don't remember what song, but it was one of those. It was a hip hop song. It was like part of that compilation, and she just thought it. She just thought it was such a big deal.
Hey, Dirty, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, Michael, we have, as always, forgotten.
Save the best for last.
No.
Wait,
Michael.
hold on. Let me prepare.
My love, my flame, Michael. What were the first 2 CDs that you ever bought? And if you say anything silly, Dewan's going to drive to your house and beat the shit out of you with a.
Well, he might as
And then
well
I'll
start
hug you
driving.
afterwards.
My first album was the.
For the listeners, Dewan has gotten out of his chair. He will be at Michael's place in 10 minutes. Michael's actually decided to preemptively bleed so that he looks a little more pitiful when Dewan makes it to the house.
All right, Michael, tell us.
That was fucked up.
All right, Michael, tell us about the first time you listened to Five Finger Death Punch.
Damn.
I can't remember that, but my first album was the Digimon soundtrack. The Digimon.
Of course, it was
soundtrack.
some nerdy shit. I knew it would be something nerdy. I said Carl Sagan earlier thinking it was a joke, and now you did something worse than that.
You might as well have just been like. So the first album I ever bought was actually
The
just
Digimon soundtrack, not even Pokemon. Digimon.
No, the movie had just come out, and it was a bunch of like 90s like ska pop hits and stuff like that. And
Man.
it was cool.
Oh, the Aquabats.
It
That's
was
what
like
you're listening to?
1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies and
Jesus Christ.
stuff like that. Okay,
Okay.
so
I was expecting, like Striper or In Sync. So, I mean, you've at least gotten close to the...
Do you know
the
what I was?
second one.
Can I guess?
The second one was yes, go for it.
Was it the Microsoft Office install CD?
Yes, that is my favorite album to listen to. I put it in my Walkman all the time when I'm just dancing in the room. No,
Jesus.
Shane was only slightly off. So I think it was a fast food joint. It was McDonald's. I think had a sort of like promotion for, I think it was Backstreet Boys' second album, Pop or something like that. And so they came out with 3 different versions.
Actually,
of
the
that
second album was Millennium, thank you.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Self-titled was first.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
My
come on,
apologies.
Michael. Jesus,
Get it together.
it's fucking
Educated.
embarrassing.
Yeah. But so they released 3 different versions of it, and I think I got the gold one from McDonald's that I bought with my own money. So those are my 2: Digimon soundtrack and Backstreet Boys.
Followed by
So we know
Golden
not
Shower.
to ask Michael about any pop culture stuff anymore.
Oh,
No.
so
52 episodes of me not understanding any pop culture references, I'll tell you that.
I think I have a little framework of where we can go from here.
So don't.
What?
Man,
Don't look at me that way.
I told you I was steering this ship, motherfucker.
Fine, steer.
That was so disappointing.
No, please.
Steer the ship.
No, take your time.
The HMS Pinafore.
So, Dewan, after we asked Dewan to be on the show, it kind of motivated him to go back and listen to the most recent episode. And I really liked getting the feedback. And it's always nice to get feedback. We ask for it all the time, so if you've made it this far, which you should have, because this is probably my favorite episode we've recorded so far. It's nice getting the feedback in real time. So Dewan was like, hey, that was actually really, not to steal your words out of your mouth when you're in the room, Dewan, but you were saying it was fun, but then you're like, yeah, I stopped when that nonsense came on at the end, though.
Fair.
But, so...
I know nothing about it, man.
It's fine. We can give you, like, the, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know what he's saying,
Now,
Shane. Please
I'm
help.
fucking losing it here.
Can I reel back to the fact that I actually had, as we refer to it in the show, a Sigourney segue. I was going to say,
oh yeah.
Speaking of shit music,
Alien.
we're going to talk about some right now from John's past.
I was going to say Dewan's missed a lot of inside jokes or whatever, but the main inside joke is that, Michael, if you could name any movie, and I can almost guarantee, unless it's something very, very odd, he's probably never seen it.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We gotta help that man.
He owns 3 copies of The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I think that's the only thing he's ever seen.
The best movie ever.
Michael, have you actually
Oh my God.
Michael, have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Because he's Mr. Ripley. God damn that guy.
Here the unfortunate thing
I don't
is,
get it.
he bought it because of the cover, and he
This
just
looks
keeps
like a Bond movie.
he keeps forgetting that he bought it, so he has
Michael?
multiple copies just hanging around.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right.
So John, back around the turn of the century, had decided that he was going to grow his bangs long, and he was going to play a bunch of really aggressive music.
Jeez Louise.
And he managed to meet me at this time, and I was just crying into a microphone in front of people in public and expected them to somehow compensate me with something more than derision. I don't know how that worked out either ways, but it's still happening now. So
I sent a picture of the band promo to that group chat that we shared to get Dewan coordinated. So eventually, if he wants to see what I looked like back then, he can see that.
Oh, I saw what
Mother
you looked
pearl.
like back then.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call
So
it a glow
sultry.
up, but you look better.
Thanks, baby. So to elaborate a little bit before you jump on that.
do it.
So Shane and I have been on the nostalgia train of going back on all the projects that we've been in and kind of looking at like the self-growth. And the quote that I use all the time, and I've used it here before, is that if you look back on yourself and you're not wincing a little bit, then it means you really haven't grown as a person. And I really agree with that, because I've listened to a lot of the early demos of like the first things I've ever wrote, and a lot of demos from the first band I was ever in. And I want to go back in time and just viciously beat myself to death. It's really, really fucking bad. But this project in particular that we're going to get into was this weird moment it was a stepping stone to getting to actually doing things that I enjoy. So prior to this, like, I really didn't understand melody at all. I was very atonal, and not because it was stylistically a choice, but because I just didn't know what I was doing. But anyway.
Hey, you liked that note a lot, and you wanted to use it.
Well, see, in jazz, Shane, we play all the notes.
Indeed.
Roy Donk.
Hey, cowboy chorus.
Brown note?
Papa
He was king of the tuk-tuk sound.
He could hit the high C all night long.
Ugh.
Gives me the shakes.
If you
I
know,
can't
you
drink
know.
IC.
Anyway, Shane, what are we doing?
So we are going to flow back via the flux capacitor, or as Ebony would say, in our Tim machine, and we're going to stumble across an exclusive interview that I conducted with John and the other members of the band The Hellfire Club. Back in, I forget when we even did this. I should have included the actual publication date. I thought I did.
I think it was 2012.
Okay. well, the world was ending, so I mean, it's appropriate.
I mean, we were all depressed in 2012.
So for this, because I didn't go searching for it, but Shane, I think you said it. You were a journalist back then for Amp Kicker magazine.
Yes.
Or Zine. Zine magazine is what the fuck's the difference?
A zine?
It's Zenny.
It's actually pronounced meme.
Meme.
And I like Tianith.
It's actually the butt.
God.
Now we're talking.
There are no rails for this show. So good Lord, now I'm all caught a case of the vapors. Whilst I had basically somewhat gotten sick of playing music in public, and so this was how I was sating my appreciation and adoration for music at the time, as I just decided to write about it, and we called ourselves Independent Music Advocates. So we would only talk about stuff we liked.
Oh, Jesus.
We're not keen on, trying to be slanderous, and I don't dig on trying to... Listen, if I hate Taylor Swift, I can gripe about it for days. They're not going to pull her off the shelf. It's just
But she worked with Bonnie Vare and the dude from the National, so you have to like it.
Indeed.
Come on, Shane.
So if I put peanut butter and jelly around a piece of dog shit, somehow that means that that's going to be more palatable to me. But
we call that...
Well, I'm allergic, so...
we call that DJ Sneaky Snake's dinner.
Indeed. So, long story short, too fucking late. Jon and I had met, and we've detailed sort of our own past previously. But he mentioned he was in a group at the time, and we were doing some shows together as sort of like solo singer-songwriters when I was just trying to get a little money in my pocket. And so I asked, well, if you boys have, some material that you're going to be debuting, I'll do a quick interview, we'll do a write-up, and we can get you a little attention for, what little attention I am capable of providing you through this glorious online fashion. And so we elected to do this quick. So we did this via a written sort of like a
questionnaire.
Essentially. So that I wasn't going to call anybody and ruin an afternoon with trying to figure out how to do what we're doing right now 10 years into the future. And so this is the transcript of that interview. And so,
Jesus.
Michael, I'm going to have you essaying the role of our good friend Jason, who was another co-founder of this band.
Yes.
And so you've got your highlighted section there in blue. Jon will be himself. I was actually really tempted to make Dewan be you, Jon, just so that we could, make this more entertaining.
So
that actually sounds more fun.
Dewan, do you have?
Let's see.
Sorry.
Do I have what?
So do you have an open device? Are you just recording on your Zoom, or do you have your phone?
Don't make him touch anything.
My man, I am almost 38 years old. Don't ask me this.
All right, fine.
I barely figured this out.
Fair,
all right, so
but I do want to know. I do want to know what Jon's first band sounded like for the people that aren't initiated.
Yes.
Well, if I can make a note, Michael, if you wanted to play 30 seconds of it, you could play it right now.
Bam, cool,
but
done.
Now that
that was a great ref song.
Yeah,
just put on all of 2112, just the whole album.
I'm gonna pull from Dre for just a second. Damn, that shit was dope.
Essentially what the band was is that we were trying to do like high energy, like party rock. Like the other members were all in the same metal band together, and that's how I met them.
You're ruining the delivery.
Okay. I'll shut the fuck up.
Get into this shit.
All right.
Here is my intro. Hellfire Club is a party rock quintet from Gilbert, Arizona that is just starting their descent. No. That is just starting their ascent of the local music ladder, but has made a major impact on the scene in their infancy. Reaching the finals in KUPD's The Battle for Desert Uprising, because KUPD's classy. Battle of the Bands in September. The boys have been on the lips and in the ears, figuratively, folks. Don't linger in the gutter. of Valley music fans since. The group is currently culling material to create a full-length LP, but you can sample some of their tunes via their Facebook page or by examining our previous article about their song Exit Sign, which was a very tasty track. John, I do have to give you credit.
Bless you.
Yes. So, in this exclusive interview with ampkicker.com, which I was not able to pull up the other day, so I had to drag this out of my archives. I don't know if something happened to Scott's page, but just the second I need to use it, it dies. Here are the boys to fill us in on their origins, their style, and what's on the horizon for the fearsome fivesome.
Jesus.
So sit back and indulge yourselves, friends. So here is me, Shane, diving in. Good day, gentlemen. Let me thank you at the outset for taking a moment to impart some information to our readers. Dear God, can this man get off his fucking high horse? Oh, I'm an English major. Look at me. All right. Firstly, can we have you all identify yourselves and your role in the group?
I am the vocalist and lyricist in the project.
And you have to say your name.
John Watkins.
I'm going to butcher his last name.
Well, you don't have to say his last name.
Yeah, let's not say his last name.
Okay, cool. I am Jason.
Well done.
And I play guitar.
So what is the etymology of the name?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hellfire Club.
Etymology, my man?
I do enjoy random obscure terms out of thesaurus.com, my friend.
Okay, so do you want me to continue reading this in the
Please.
nerd voice, or just read it in my voice?
Just read it in your voice. It's going to be bad enough on its own.
Again, I'm really nervous for this shit now. Oh my god, this is such a long fucking answer.
Do it. You
It
thought
is-
cold reads
damn.
for My Immortal were bad, my friend. Just wait.
Buckle in.
no.
It is so funny that we landed on the name Hellfire Club, and I believe we have Ryan to thank / blame for it. Originally, when it was just Jason and I tinkering with demos for this project, parenthetical, one of which would become Exit Sign, we operated under the name Rubber Ducky Dance Party. It was once we brought Ryan in that we shifted to the name Hellfire Club at his recommendation. For one, he had good taste. No, just kidding. For one, we loved the ring it had. Secondly, under my own investigation, I found the original HFC referred to a chain of exclusive clubs that were places of persons of quality who wished to take part in immoral acts. Basically made me envision an 18th century strip club, which made me laugh and appreciate the name. Thirdly, finally, and most importantly, the Hellfire Club was a society in the X-Men comics that would pit against the X-Men, parenthetical, the club still being filled with social elitists. I can't say I was immersed in the comic book world, but I always fancied the X-Men series. So that was basically the point that sold me.
Wow.
I'm a fucking cunt.
Hey, I would say comparatively between the two of us, I'm still the douchier of the two. Thank
I'd have
you.
been like, interview over, my man. Have a good day.
Like, and I've deleted your response, and I regret ever reaching out. Thank you for your time.
I'm just lamenting the loss of the Rubber Ducky Dance Party.
Rubber Ducky Dance Party definitely sounds less like we're trying to crawl out of our own asshole, so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm down for the Hellfire Club, though. So what was the genesis of the band? Not the Phil Collins. Were you all involved in other projects together previously? And what were they?
Danny and myself were in a metal band called Detox together.
Ugh.
He is a guitarist, and I am the drummer. Which is weird, he said he was the guitarist earlier. Detox at one point decided we were going to start a side project that was more, quote, radio. I had some rock tunes that I had written that were going to be thrown into the mix. A bit of time passed and the other guys lost interest. I did demo versions of 3 or 4 tunes musically on my own. John, who is my second engineer in the recording studio, Toxic Recording, heard the tracks and wanted to give the vocal spot a stab. After what he was able to come up with, it was easy to convince Danny to come back aboard. Right about that time, I got a call from Ryan, who was looking for a band. We know each other through the drum instructor we both took lessons from years ago. After a few rehearsals, he tapped Damien to fill the bass spot, and here we sit. That sounded a lot less pretentious.
Yeah, because Jason is Jon and Shane's age, and during it connects.
Is that a pejorative?
It sounded like one.
Right? Jesus
He
Christ.
basically called us boomers right on the microphone.
God damn.
Well, don't go
Cold
sucking
as
on the
ice,
Tide
right?
Pods yet.
It's
No.
hydroxychloroquine, thank you.
Something that I admire about Jason is that he did take, like, They were older than I was. I think I was 20, just turning 21 after the first 2 shows with this band. So I was very much like, I don't know. I was not used to being interviewed. I was not used to people even care, like people outside of my social circle or like my band circle or anything wanting to give a fuck about what I was doing.
Obviously, I'm not used to interviewing people either. So, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Furthermore, to your point, Michael, Jason was the guitar player in the band here. He was a drummer in other projects John was involved with.
Okay, he's just good at everything.
He's a multi-instrumentalist, thank you.
Turns out when you have the money to invest in building your own studio onto the back of your house that it gives you the time to get away from your wife to learn other instruments and, you know, be a little good at them here and there.
Damn. As you are wont to do.
If I had the money to have a home studio, I would do it immediately just so that I could, you know, do exactly what you did. Anyway.
So I could be divorced.
Ooh, you about to get in trouble?
She doesn't listen, it's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, this project fell into my lap at the death of my previous project, which was Last Step Down. Jason was the last drummer we had before LSD split ways. Not only that, but I had been working with Jason for a couple years in his spacious studio, as an assistant engineer. I remember frequently a year ago this month him talking about wanting to form this party rock project. His and Danny's and still current project Detox was extreme metal, and Jason wanted to slip into a project where having fun on stage and song were accepted. Also damn near mandatory. Jesus Christ. Around that same time, Jason approached me with 3 songs, asking if I would take them home over the weekend and see what I could do to them vocally. Of those 3 songs, I completed 2 and recorded them the following week. Jason instantly told me I was the vocalist he was looking for. Mm-hmm. It was as shocking to him as it was to me. Ha ha ha. As far as Ryan and Damien goes, I know that Ryan is the only quote-unquote road-torn member. Formerly the founding member and drummer of Lauren Battle, he met many people on his amazing time with them, Damien being one.
That almost sounds like the part in My Immortal when she just sings a couple lines and they instantly add her to her.
Yes,
I only wanted to call John Ebony
that's
here.
Fine.
And
that's
why I brought
since
it up.
Dwan's not in on the My Immortal fanfic, Shane, would you care to tell him the full name of the protagonist in that fanfic?
Ebony, Darkness, Dementia, Raven, Way.
And she kind of looks like Amy Lee.
And she wishes that she
was... Of Evanescence fame?
Yes.
Hence why it's called My Immortal.
Oh, no!
My friend, it gets worse, I assure you.
Hey, Dwan.
Jesus Christ.
Dwan, do you remember that episode of Metalocalypse where they're forced to play acoustic music? And
with the grandpa's guitars,
and one of them is like, it's almost like trying to unlearn the guitars. That is kind of what My Immortal is like in a literary sense. It's like someone trying to unlearn how to write.
But it has something to do with Amy Lee?
No, that's just where she took the inspiration for the name, but it's essentially her gothic take on the Harry Potter universe, where shit...
Oh, Jesus! It gets worse!
Yeah. Listen, I respect you too much to subject you to that, so...
And you said as much when we were talking last week, so I appreciate it.
Yes, liberate yourself while you can. All right, whenever we need to pull the plug on this, if it gets too excruciating, John, I just want to get to like the end sequences here, but as long as you're surviving.
I'm surviving. Let's see where we were. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So you gents describe yourselves as party rock.
Gents.
When I hear that, gent, yes. When I hear that as a descriptor, I either think of Andrew WK or 80s hair metal. So what does the genre label mean to you?
It's the type of music you want to shake your booty to. Up-tempo and playful. That was the original idea. High energy, fast tempo, very fun. Party rock.
What I find the party rock genre to be is what artists you play when you want to get rowdy, drink, fight, copulate with a significant other, or just have a good time in general.
Copulate?
Primarily.
Did Shane write that for you?
Nope, that was me.
I know, right?
No, that was me.
Ghostwriting ass.
That was me trying to fucking impress Shane, probably.
He used a lot of big words. Time to do the same.
Primarily to do so, you have to keep the tempo upbeat and message concise and clear. Parenthetical identifiable. For instance, in the demo EP we've completed, I believe the tempo doesn't once dip beneath 170 BPM. Basically, by identifying ourselves as party rock, we've taken on the task of writing tunes that bring forth the atmosphere of having a rowdy blast, and we love writing in that mindset. I hate almost everything that was written there, but comparative to the other responses, it's the least in my own asshole.
Well, here's the thing, though. So this was a metal band, right?
For all intents and purposes.
So what's party rock about that? Like, I get the whole LMFAO party rock, and I also get there's a bunch of punk bands that have this super just all we do is party element.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, what we weren't we should have just flat out said who we were trying to riff off of, and we were trying to be a more radio friendly version of Every Time I Die. We were trying to be the Damned Things before the Damned Things really took off with their first record.
I mean, I get that because they were a little bit more on the funner side of
So literally, all the
that
riffs,
type of metalcore.
Most of the riffs that were written in the little demo EP that we had, or the EP that we had, was basically okay, so you have Every Time I Die, but it's approachable to people that don't want to listen to metal.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original approach. Looking back,
okay.
And also to let you somewhat off the hook here, John, it's really difficult to talk about yourself, and you're trying not to be so painfully self-aggrandizing as to just make everybody want to lynch you in the street.
Yeah.
My responses on this would say otherwise, because it seems like I was going out of my way to try to get people to kick my ass for me.
Well, you don't refer to yourself as a golden god anywhere in the course of this interview.
Well, I'm a fucking genius, so I should have.
Yeah. Well.
Wait till we start our hardcore band.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, to the heart of the matter, John, this music feels like a very stark contrast to your work as a solo songwriter. Do you feel that your vocal approach is different for the band? If so, what motivates the change?
Oh, good. I wrote myself a paragraph or two. Indeed, it is a very drastic change from my solo work. But I think that vocally it is natural to tune your voice to the project at hand. My acoustic work, naturally, is a very intimate endeavor. Therefore, the melody and vocals just happen to come out in an intimate manner. I already said that. With Hellfire Club.
You spelled manner wrong.
I fucking know.
Well, I'm the dick who left it in, so...
In an intimate building.
And you didn't even come. With Hellfire Club, I am dealing with intense and aggressive music behind me. It just kind of makes me harness that aggressive side of my persona that usually lies dormant. Also, I wanted to challenge myself in this project, so I started writing melodies that I believe challenged me as a vocalist. I also worked on trying to expand my range. I believe the greatest vocalists out there are the ones that are constantly expanding their boundaries and even stepping outside of their comfort zone.
Yuck.
Fuck me to death. Pin me against a wall and fuck my brains out of my skull, and not in a sexual way.
So just that you feel better, John, at some point I am going to pull up either I've offered to do the Skeleton Keys interview or the one that you and I did once we started the Hollow, so that you can give me as much shit shoveled onto me as you are presently enduring, because I assure you I am no less pretentious with anything that I have ever laid down with an interview, so... It's going to get worse before it gets better, I'm sure. So I'll move from, would we like to reference some of these things for the, what do you listen to when you're creating stuff, or shall I just start cherry picking things?
Sade.
Right. At your disposal here. We're kind of fast forwarding, right?
Ish. Let me slide to we'll skip all the how do you write and all this other stuff.
No one cares about that.
Yeah.
Let's slide forward to yes. So what are you working on now? And what can we expect from you in the coming year?
We are writing some new music, and we'll start tracking our full-length album as soon as we have enough material to do so.
We We are killing Dewan slowly. I love it. Right now, we are busy writing new material. As a fairly young band, as far as time public to the local scene, we had a very limited catalog when we emerged. As of now, we have 7 songs we are completely satisfied with, and we hope by the end of the year to have another 5 or 6 written. After, we will record and release a full-length album, shop it, play it, tour it. This is the exciting part for me, the process leading up to the big show. I have a lot lyrically I want to say, and this project is the perfect means to get that across. I'm going to go ahead and add a little afterward to that. I did not say much. Kind of fumbled the ball there.
Say
All
word.
right, now this one I have to include just because this pains me. And Dewan, please feel free to tear this to tatters. What is your favorite venue to perform at in the Valley? And is there a place that feels like home?
Oh shit, Dewan is gonna fucking kill me here.
Also, after that, we gotta have a sidebar.
All right.
Oh no.
Let's go.
Am I in trouble with Daddy?
We'll see.
With Dad? With Pop?
No, it's gonna be old man time with Dewan.
Get him, Dad.
All right.
Michael?
Jason?
They're all so great in their own way. The one that I'd love to perform at is the Marquee Theater. We have not yet...
Hashtag humble brag.
The fuck out of here! I like playing at the biggest venue in Tempe. We only had one show, but yeah, I love this place. Fuck out of here.
We have not yet played that stage with this group, but within the next few shows, that place is a must.
Jesus Christ.
Jason, Danny, I love you guys to death, but let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We didn't end up getting on the marquee stage with Hellfire.
Oh, really?
But I will say, I'll give context. Their band Detox, they did have their CD, like full-length album release at the Marquee Theater. It was a fucking awesome night.
Opening up for Taproot?
No, they were the headliner.
Ooh.
And Taproot came later.
Actually, they opened up for Lacuna Coil. Thank you very much.
Ooh, I remember
All
when I was trying to be cool, I used to fuck with Laguna Coil and like Nightwish and all that weird shit.
How about
Yeah,
Shadows
man.
Fall?
Oh, dude. I saw Shadows Fall, and oh my god, they were rad. I can't listen to this shit now because it's awful. But Shadows Fall was cool. It was them,
They're
the
not Kill
Haunted.
Switch.
I have a problem with that dude.
Okay, so before you lose all respect for me with my response on this interview, I also saw Shadows Fall, and get this, Lacuna Coil on the same bill at fucking Celebrity Theater.
Oof.
Well, I saw Lacuna Coil opening for Seven Dust.
The headliner
That's
of
even
Lacuna
worse
Shadows...
than all of us.
Nope, I got it. And I don't know why we're making this a pissing contest, but the headliner for the Lacuna Shadows Fall show at Celebrity Theater, Stone Sour.
God.
Yuck. You win.
I didn't want to.
I saw Laguna Coil with Danzig, and it was the first Blackest of the Black tour at the Mesa Amphitheater.
That kind of sounds fun though.
It was fine. There was a lot of smelly, like just fat metalheads, and I wasn't really a big fan. I had my like pink anniversary shirt, and I was like mad indie
Michael,
rock at
cover
the
your
time.
ears.
He's like, "What's that mean?"
It could be worse.
And I'm Michael.
You might have, been watching at the Marquee Theater. You might have gone to see Crossfade, Dark New Day, and Seether as the
I
headliner.
was at that show.
So was I.
You know what's funny about that? So
Don't tell me
off
you were
the
at
bat.
that fucking show too.
No, hell no. But it's even worse. I used to work at Hot Topic back in the day.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
an edgelord, huh?
Flex. And one of the managers there used to he was in some shitty band, and they played with Crossfade, but it was at like the fucking Big Fish pub or some shit. That's an old school venue for you youngsters.
Yes,
I played Big Fish.
I played Big Fish. So that is actually that's the open mic I met my former bandmates at, oddly enough. Lauren from the Ladder and I met at Big Fish Pub.
Man, that place was a trip.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's like the size of a kitchen.
Yeah, so I know that we talked about Seven Dust, and then we can get back on the interview. But one of the most the reason that Big Fish Pub was infamous to me is because of a story about Seven Dust when they were touring the was the album called Black? Shane?
No,
Racist.
that's their self-titled.
But when they were touring for the self-titled album, they played Big Fish Pub, and the lore goes that they were playing so the PA was up so loud, they were so engaged, like so aggressive, and it was sold out that they were basically shaking the roof tiles off, like the particles of the roof coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was just because the Big Fish was a piece of shit.
Yeah,
that's because the roof was 8 feet tall. Yeah,
they needed to pay their bill and they couldn't. So that place was trash.
Anyway. So back on 2 favorite venues that 2012 John really enjoyed.
Brace for it.
Dewana, I love you and I'm sorry. As far as where we have so far played in this project, the folks at Rocky Point Cantina have made us feel very... Now, after I finish this pull quote, we will talk about very briefly Rocky Point. The folks at Rocky Point Cantina have made us feel very comfortable there. The atmosphere is great, and the turnouts there are usually amazing. As far as my personal favorite, I fear I'm homesick for a place that doesn't exist anymore. Of course, I'm referring to the Clubhouse. Even though that place often smelled like urine and the lost dreams of a hobo.
There's John.
I played and witnessed some of my favorite shows there over the years. I was sad to see that place go.
Finally, you rear your ugly head there, Mr. Watkins.
So the random story I have about Rocky Point Cantina. One, that place could have been something good.
My best friend fucked a dead guy in the bathroom.
No,
Jesus.
So Rocky Point Cantina, for those that don't know, it was off of 8th Street, and it's where Four Peaks OG Brewery is. It's on 8th Street, a little bit down the ways where it was. And they started booking more metal shows there. It started to become more of a hard rock alternative metal venue for a while. And then in the heyday of Bar Rescue with John Tafford being a thing...
I remember that bullshit.
They called Bar Rescue down to Rocky Point Cantina.
They destroyed it.
Yeah, so John Tafford and his crew came in. Buddies, a band called Killing Spree was featured on the episode of Bar Rescue playing in Rocky Point Cantina, filled with people in the background just massacring the band. And then, the show does its usual thing. But what they didn't show you, and I don't think they've even acknowledged on the show since, is that John Tafford and his crew never went back through and got the proper permitting through the city of Tempe. So, they did renovate Rocky Point Cantina, change its name, do what Bar Rescue does. But since they didn't get the permitting, that bar, whatever the new name was, had to go appeal to the city of Tempe, failed, and subsequently was shut down. So John Tafford single-handedly brute-fucked Rocky Point Cantina to death.
But, and then went to like 3 other places in Tempe and fucked those places too.
Yeah. So up until that point, I was actually a Bar Rescue fan because I was into like some trashy like TNT, semi-reality shows. But after that, I was like, what in the... That was my first experience with like, oh yeah, reality TV is just fabricated bullshit nonsense.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, excuse me.
Downside.
You've heard 2012 John's interview responses. That shouldn't surprise you too much.
Yes. Well, it's okay. We can't all watch.
He's a hot take.
So, is there a good stopping point on this interview? Are we really there?
I want to hear. Okay. I want to hear everybody's good stories about the Clubhouse.
Jeez.
Does anybody have good Clubhouse stories? And see, that. We got hey, PMA baby, we gotta end on we gotta talk about some positivity.
We will definitely get there. I have the last thing I want to do here that I think is a nice way to leave is the last 2, which are my common questions for everything. So, Desert Island top 5 albums or artists, please. Fuck. 2012 John.
Fuck.
We can even leave Jason out of this because
leave Jason out of this.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Oh, you know what? I might escape this a little bit unscathed. Slightly.
Uh-huh.
And I'm proud of 2012 John for saying, at this current moment, because
You're
even
a
back
clever
then,
lad.
at that current moment, I knew that things aren't finite. Like it's going to change. So, 2012 John, Hellfire Club John, Ray LaMontagne and the Prairie Dogs. Oh, shut up! That was a great album. You know it. And this, the Glitch Mobs, Drink the Sea.
Got him.
Yep. City in Colors, Bring Me Your Love, which has stayed in the list. Oh,
Okay.
When you're not on air, you like
I fucks
that
with
album.
it. Yeah. I fucks with it. I fucks with
Periphery 2, This Time It's Personal.
it. Right.
And Every Time I Die, X Lives.
That can't be on the top 5 anymore, right?
Tell
me you grew out of that.
I still really love Every Time I Die, but I don't think they would make a top 5 anymore. I've found doper shit that says the same thing, a little less or a little more straightforward.
18 Visions. I was kidding.
Man, you and Finn McKenty are both on that same train, man.
And now, any artist, living or dead, to collaborate with, and this could be recording, tour, or simply write with.
You are just hell-bent on getting Dewan to shut the Zoom meeting and leave this podcast, aren't you?
We're angling for entertainment.
Oof.
All right, is this the final word from 2012?
Yes, this will be the last we get out of 2012, John.
2012 JW. And this will come as no surprise, Shane, but I think Corey Taylor would be excellent to pick for all of the above. I have been a fan of Slipknot for a while, as well as Stone Sour. What would be excellent, though, would be to be direct support on one of his acoustic tours.
Awful.
Whew.
Awful.
Okay, you mentioned the Clubhouse, and the Clubhouse is a beautiful way to kind of wrap this anniversary guest spot with. So the Clubhouse, I don't remember how many people that I saw there, but it was one of the first venues, or it was the second venue I ever played ever in Tempe, and ever to begin with. One of my best memories from the Clubhouse is we played Last Step Down, the first band I was ever in. We played with a band called Hurt, that's why we were there. Yeah, we opened for a band called Hurt on their Goodbye to the Machine tour. And at that time, Hurt was one of my top favorite bands. And after Hurt played and we were all loading out, the lead singer, Jay Lauren, who I admired, like, just hand over fist, like, he was sitting on the curb. And I smoked cigarettes back then, as you were wont to do. And I was smoking a cigarette, and he asked me if he could have a cigarette. I didn't have cigarettes. It was my last one, so I got to go. I offered to buy one of my favorite vocalists a pack of Camels. And I bought him a pack of smokes, and we shared a cigarette together and just got to shoot the shit. And that was one of my favorite memories from the Clubhouse. Also,
you seem like one of those type of cats that used to smoke clove cigarettes and not regular cigarettes. Were you one of those dudes?
No, I wasn't a poser. Fuck that shit.
All right, I just wanted to double check.
Also, it was with that same band. It was one of the first times. It was the first venue that my mom got to see me play ever. Ooh. And it was the shittiest show in the entire world. It was a bunch of metal bands. We weren't really metal. Like, my mom,
party rock.
No, this is a different band. This is like butt rock that wasn't even good. It
was actual ass rock. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember walking out to the parking lot to like show my mom and my brother like where to like give them their tickets to get them in. And it's a battle of the bands, and this ensemble of people wearing like it was like industrial garb, so like bondage pants and like heavy piercings everywhere. They're the lead singer of this band, and they called themselves Cripple Creep. Was a disabled man in a wheelchair wearing a bunch of very inappropriate garb and piercings everywhere. And that's the first thing my mom saw while she was walking into the venue to see me play. Anyway, Shane, you have a good memory, and then I think we'll leave Dewan as the final word on the Clubhouse.
Well, I think we'll. So I was a part of an interesting confluence of events with the Clubhouse. I was in a band that played when Obadiah Parker was on the major ascension, having done the Hey Ya cover that everybody got themselves worked into a rich foamy lather over, they were releasing a CD that would contain that song. And they released at the Clubhouse. And so I was playing in a band with a guy named Joey at the time. And so we played the show as the closer for that show. So I got to hang out, watch Obadiah Parker do the full set to just scores of very excited, young folks. And then they all scurried very quickly out the door whilst Joey and I sat up on stage and didn't do a damn thing. So it was...
You mean you're not going to play Hey Ya?
It was a very, interesting way for me to be quickly crestfallen at the end of it. But it was a fun venue. I saw 30 Seconds to Mars there, which was one of the better shows that I managed to catch. And we hung around afterwards because my buddy Scott of Amp Kicker fame, who thankfully is the reason we had that glorious little interview to go back to, he wanted to stick around to see Jared, as he exited. So he wanted to wait for like 4 to 5 hours to catch the band as they were walking out. I was like, I'm going to take off. So I went and hung out at like the little 7-Eleven that was in the corner there and actually caught him before Scott did. So
nice.
I mean, it's not very entertaining at all. I didn't watch anybody like, disembowel a goat on the front step and, then try to see their future in the entrails.
Michael, am I correct in assuming that you don't know what the Clubhouse is?
I'm picturing it as a treehouse, so
Jesus
definitely
Christ.
not.
Cool. Dewan, do you want to take out this glorious anniversary episode with your best memory from the Clubhouse?
The best memory from the Clubhouse is seeing Saul Williams. If you guys aren't familiar with Saul Williams,
I'm not.
He's kind of like a poet kind of guy. Slam poetry. He did a lot of like the Def Poetry Jam. He does a lot of like, I guess you can call him a rapper, but he's more of like also an activist, also an artist, also he just does it all. Like he's a pretty rad dude. But the funny thing was, he's super pro-black. And he had a song called List of Demands, probably right around the time, like right before it had shut down. And I get to the show. I didn't really care about who was opening up for him because they just weren't good. I don't even remember them. But what I do remember is it was a sold out show, and there was at least, mind you, it's probably, I don't know, it held a decent amount of people, right?
It's about to go off.
I think there was probably about, outside of me, there had to have been about like 4 or 5 other black people, and that was it. So you had like all these just like hipster white people listening to this pro-black like artist, poet, just sing like just pro-black songs. And I was just like, this is weird. And I was a little too young to kind of understand like the idea of that and like what it means and who can listen to what and like, are they getting a message and all that. And I was just like, damn, there's no black people here. And next thing you know, there's like all the black people was kind of like in one area. And we started looking out. We were like, huh. We started asking each other. It was like, did you expect this? He was like, no, man, I thought it'd be more brothers here. I thought it'd be more sisters here. Nope. And he actually even said, he was like, hey, man, appreciate the white folks that came.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you, man, I was very surprised that there was no black people there. Like, nowadays, I think cats would have came and showed up. But we're talking
what year was that?
2004, 2005. And also it was like a weird part of Tempe. It's like right before you hit ASU. Brothers weren't really fucking around with that area. You know
also,
what I mean?
Tempe is very different 16 years later.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, definitely.
So Dorsey
And
and
also,
Broadway is a very different area than it was then.
He would like now if he would have came and it was the same like idea and concept, he would have played at like Valley Bar. Or he would have played at somewhere downtown, and it would have made more sense.
Yeah,
like it wasn't him that was like awkward and weird. It was the fact that it was in like this area where there's not a lot of brothers and sisters at, and just like, damn. I bet he had way more fun at other places. It was a good show, But I was just like, holy smokes.
Man.
Well,
And I've had a lot of experiences like that. I got to see this Dolomite before he died, and Blowfly. And if any of your people know who that is, but me, my brother, and my buddy Ray were probably like the only black folks there.
Ray?
And that was at...
I know Ray.
Oh, brother Ray. Oh, drunk ass Ray.
Man, I miss that guy. You tell him I'm thinking about him.
I will not.
Fine. I mean, that's racist, but fine.
I'll let him know you say you love him. All right. But we saw them, and I was just like, holy shit, we're the only black people here. There was one couple, and they was dancing and having fun, but for the most part, it was a lot of young hipsters, young white hipsters. I was just like, the game done changed. And actually, I don't hate it. It was weird to me because I was like in my 20s, so I wasn't expecting it. I didn't understand what was going on, but it was still pretty cool, man. So it's just like working at a bottle shop.
You fucking A.
Or attending a Mega Ran concert here.
Dwan, I really appreciate...
I know, right? Oh, you already know.
Oh, fuck. Dwan, I really, really, really appreciate the fact that you're the first guest that we have. I have one question for you before I think we wrap up. And
Townes Van Zandt is the greatest singer-songwriter of all time. And I will stand on anybody's table with muddy boots and say that.
It is a good idea, and you will stand by.
He admitted
it! Do you have 15 minutes to do a hypothetical on YouTube with us?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, sweet. So you heard it here first, kids. On Friday, on YouTube, Disinformed After Dark, you can hear Dwan Johnson's hot takes on whatever hypothetical Shane has in store.
Get ready, because I will not know what I'm looking at.
Brace for impact, ladies and germaphobes.
Perfect.
And now it's time for the editor to transition to the reading, because we didn't really record a good transition. Whoopsie doozies.
Man, it's...
Please.
No.
I'm not stopping you.
I was going to say, I know that we just talked about... We celebrated our 1 year and it was amazing. But it feels like a whole... It feels like we traveled back in time.
Did you just say that we were not doing a ham-fisted segue, that we're just going to go into this like there's no preamble? You silly fuck.
I bet he spent all of his extra time writing this down just
damn
so
it.
he can lead it.
Okay, never mind.
You just see him crumpling up some paper and throwing it away.
I can only... This. Okay, and... I can only do this one more time. So... Let me get
gather
into
yourself
here.
Yes, it's important.
Hey, Michael.
I'm really glad we are going to be bringing the hammer down on the back of the skull of this story, because it has needed to die since chapter 1.
Michael.
Yes, Professor Trivoli Sinister.
Are you a voice actor?
No, I said seductively. Or sexily.
Well, my name is Cornelio Fuck, and I am here to say that I am happier than I have ever been in the past year, nay, 6 years, to inform you that this is the last time that we are tacking on to My Immortal. We are finishing this, and what this is Michael painstakingly, to us, has taken the world's worst fan fiction and word for word my brain is dead. He took this whole thing and just transposed it into a script that's 140 pages long, and we've been creating the world's most ungodly, unasked for audiobook from it. And we are at the finish line. We are going to wrap up season 2 with the conclusion of My Immortal. I am not a voice actor. Michael is not a voice actor. Shane actually is. Yeah,
I flirt with it from time to time.
Yeah, he flirts with it. I'm losing all of my steam because
All
I'm
right,
so
well, I'll
excited to
help.
be done. Please help me.
You clarify most of the time that we will read all of this stuff phonetically. So there are patent misspellings. There are things that are going to sound a bit out of sync and things that are going to be a bit bizarre. So just be prepared for that, because that is how the script is actually written, and it is ghastly. So we're going to muscle through it to the best of our ability. And here's hoping that we manage to make this at least semi-palatable, since this is now the final installment, the very last time that you are going to be exposed to My Immortal.
And I will say, I would like to add it now, and I don't want Michael to get a big head over this or anything.
Too late.
But even though I will never emotionally recover from how horrific My Immortal is, I will thank you for going through all of the effort that you've done into bringing this to light. I know this has been a passion project, a little love letter for you, and as Shane mentioned a couple episodes ago, it was referred to as early as episode 2. So it has accidentally become the baby of this podcast, and I cannot wait to drown it in the tub.
Ooh, we went back to the Dahmer from last episode, apparently.
Well, shit.
But thank you.
It's good.
Yes,
I'm
please.
Yeah,
gonna
put that
tear
on the
up.
tombstone.
You don't want to do any sort of like denouement here, Michael, as to, this is the journey of 1,000 cuts that has started with a single slash, or slash fiction, if you will.
Nice reference to fan culture.
I have my
fanfic
moments.
culture, yeah. It's just something that I've always been fascinated with, just like poorly written, poorly executed, just bad media of all forms, whether it's movies, books, fan fiction, what have you. And this, like, when it's given the title of worst fan fiction on the internet, and I challenge people that have still not listened to episode 25 or done it in some other point in their lives, Google search world's worst fan fiction and this will pop up. Like, I really enjoy this fan fiction because it's so trash. It's just utter garbage. But there is a hidden, I shudder. I hesitate to say intellectualism, but there's more than just some 12-year-old fantasizing about which Harry Potter character they would like to
Michael
be
is
in a
really
relationship
excited by this because there are references he actually understands over the course of this story. So
Which, if
he
you've
relates
been,
to it.
yeah, if you've been following the plot, there's not a lot of references that he understands.
I like the Bombadils, and that's all I can do. But
So, go ahead.
yes, no, but essentially what I was going to say is it's a masterpiece in its own right, and it's something I've loved for the past 10 years I've had. And masterpiece of garbage is still
It's
masterpiece.
a catastrophes, I think, is what we're going
I'll give
for
you
here.
that.
It might be a dumpster, but it's your
Yes.
dumpster. Yeah.
It's the dumpsterest of
It's your drunk uncle at the wedding.
Yes, it's Uncle Touchy of Uncle Touchies. But essentially, like, it's something that I've loved for the past 10 years, and I'm really glad that we're finally able to present it to everyone.
Well, it's grown up to the age that you don't really like them when you love them.
Soon I'll have to leave them.
Well, yeah, as soon as they call you dad, you gotta bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I will pose, do you guys want to wait until after the curtains have dropped on this to decide whether or not we think it is satire?
Yes.
Officially, like our official review.
Okay.
Do we
Yes.
need a breath, or do we gonna do this at the end of this segment?
We can do it. I will let you guys make that decision then.
All right.
Okay. Well,
I believe that brings us to get this final bit of fuckery out of the way. And so, with no further ado or delay, I bring you previously on My Immortal.
for the final father fucking time.
What in the blood-sucking fuck? Chapter 40 shares with us the chapter as purportedly primed for distribution by Terra, according to the troll author. Compared to Ebony in Hell, this is admittedly a bit of a letdown, Michael. I'm a little vexed.
Ooh.
Ebony awakens in the Norse's office to discover she has survived the shooting/stabbing that occurred on stage at the Merrily Mason concert. Hairgrids is also there, having been beaten to a bloody fucking pulp by Draco and Vampire due to his attempted drugging of Ebony. Voldemort arrives and chastises her for having not killed Vampire yet for the 87th fatherfucking time, as John would say.
Thank you.
And then breaks into tears like any well-adjusted gothic gentleman who can mentally transcend space and time. Ebony asks him what is wrong out of concern, and then they both hear others approaching, and Veloxamort disappears.
Wasn't that convenient?
Yes.
Just like a date for... Yeah, fuck it.
Cut that.
Vampire, Professor Sinister, apparently back from her stint in Azkaban for no good reason. Lucian, Sirius, Vampire, and Bloody Mary all appear to welcome Ebony back to consciousness. Ebony asks what happened, and Sirius explains that she could not be dispatched by a ballet, seeing as she is from an order time.
Well, my favorite part of The Matrix is when they do the ballot time.
Indeed, yes. It's hanging chads all throughout that movie. The time travel apparently negates any number of effects in reality, from amnesia potion to bullets. So apparently, if you time travel, we are impervious to bullets, and it's a miracle.
Yeah.
The group devolve into a discussion about how shocking it is that James Potter shot Lucian, and here the text goes off the motherfucking rails, saying that Snap was apparently possessed by Snap back then.
you caught that,
yeah. And, of course, was a secret death dealer, because he stood on the street and offered it to people at random.
Those death sticks.
Yeah, I don't want to sell you death sticks.
Hey. You want to sell me death sticks?
Well, yes. I appreciate it.
Wearing the Star Wars shirt. Love it.
I still was upset that neither of you commented on my 2020, post of like, you were the chosen one. I hate you. Anywho. Yeah. So, this nonsense aside, Ebony is gifted presents to commemorate her perfection while she realizes that Draco is missing. She inquires as to where he is, and they're informed he's watching Wax Hose, or Hose of Wax, or any number of other nonsense. Professor Sinister tells Ebony she has been discharged, and thus is free to go search for Draco. We discover Tara has no idea what a thong is, and claims her gothic girl print on the butt is possible, which...
I mean, it could be very, very small font. You just shouldn't be reading it.
If my brains were not scrambled eggs, I imagine I could try to make that function, but it's not going to. The crew of Hermione, Harry, and Ebony then discover Draco engaged in a sex act with Snape.
Yep.
I hate to break it to you kids, we're never going to find out why the hell this happened. So... They then accost Draco, claiming he is a traitor, and he claims they simply don't understand while pulling his tongue out of Snaps. Out of his what we don't know. It's actually, they said the exact line is, screamed Draco sadly as he took his tongue out of snakes. So either there's a nest of vipers that he is attempting to, perform cunnilingus on, or...
I think he somehow merged his tongue into Snaps. And so he was literally removing the tongue being fused to the other tongue.
So it's Harry Potter Hellraiser. Okay.
Yes.
John, you were saying?
Oh, I'm just so glad that we're done.
You and me both. Ebony runs suicidally again.
When you're a goth all the way.
So then returns to her room where she cuts her wrists with a stake, like you do, reminding us of her absolute genius in the process. All goes Metallica again, and bringing us to chapter 41, where Ebony awakens in yet another strange room, having staked herself, and discovers she's wearing the outfit she had on stage at the Merrily concert. And this is affirmed by an exceedingly fortuitous poster of Marilyn Manson being on the wall, hanging next to the Gothic Beatles calendar, featuring the Fab Four in eyeliner and black cloves, relaying that the current date is 1980. Yet again, let's just take a pause for the cause here as we attempt... death apparently causes one to Tim travel. This is just anytime she dies, she just flashes forward and back in time.
You have to
Only
be
if
careful
she's
when Tim traveling.
It's the
One
weirdest...
traveling in Tim.
I don't know why she's a fucking abacus now, but apparently she's just bouncing back and forth between set points.
She's a vampire.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. Also, seeing as the Beatles broke up in 1970, I'm having difficulty trying to believe that we are not in an alternate timeline entirely, if we're going into an alternate reality here. Because Green Day apparently formed, decades early, and Marilyn Manson's flashback. The Beatles are still together, and they're, the earliest iteration of MCR. I don't know what's happening.
You just want to yell Jared Way again?
Jared Way was a fucking infant.
He was a toddler. I was pointed out that he was probably 9, which is apparently to my girlfriend not a toddler, so I stand corrected. He was a preteen who gives a flying fuck. Who gives a flying Gerard. So Satan, who in an author's note specifically clarified as being Voldemort, which is
For
really,
photo reference.
Yes, for photo reference, arrives to check on her. She indicates that she's fine, as Satan's cigarette then subsequently gives him a money shot, as it smokes all over his face. And Satan further clarifies that she wasn't killed due to her being the undead, which is the logical thing to assume. And she then subsequently claims, no, it's just because I Tim traveled. That's really why it happened. We then relitigate the James Potter shooting Lucius for simply messing up a song for the 14th fucking time, because the two of them need to discuss it. Mm-hmm. And then Satan ascribes to Samaro he was suffering a headache. Because everyone suffering a headache here becomes homicidal or suicidal or genocidal, I don't know.
As you do. And
he's coping with a lot of stress. We are then introduced to yet another in a cavalcade of sexy bi guys. Sexy bi guy will be opening for Demon Seaman on the European tour this year, by the way, in case you weren't aware.
Yep.
Hedwig, who we learn is Voldemort's ex-lover. Ebony is elated to have stumbled onto a way for Satan to know love without necessitating her sucking the corruption out of his body. And so she proceeds to instruct the two to vigorously make out with one another back in the Hall of Greats. This is naturally, of course, observed by the other members of X-Black Tier X, and they all greedily look on as Satan and Hedwig begin to meet Mount. The band is still experiencing some tension, however, owing to one of their members trying to kill the other on stage, which I can understand. A little static.
Shit happens.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? And we are told...
I was going to say all is fair in Salmon War.
She is in charge of violence. So, of course, it's then ascribed to Snape possessing James to make him shoot Lucius with a knife. Ebony discovers that she has a video iPod in her pocket for no good goddamn reason, and she elects to film the two boys' physical entanglement. At this point, I'm fairly convinced that Tara just is trying to convince everyone that voyeur is the new black.
Yeah.
And it's just why everyone's filming everything. Particularly sex acts have to be caught on film. Girls on film. It is the 80s, so maybe that's the Duran Duran shout out.
Girls.
Girls on film. The two girls, as the two teens begin to space dock, because they touched Glocks, they're interrupted by Dumbledore and Mr. Norris as they arrive on the scene, which leads us to our current and final installment.
Thank God. Oh, sorry, Satan.
Indeed. Hail Stan.
Hail Stan.
This is the final bloody chapter of My Immortal, as performed by the Disinformed Podcast Cast. Chapter 42. Da Blake Parade. I sat depressedly in Dumbledore's office, with Hedwig, Satan, James, Sirius, Snap, and Lucian. Dumbledore was sitting in front of us, cruelly. He looked more young than he did in the future. Thank you for cleverly concealed understatement. He had taken the iPod away and was now listening to a shitty Avril Lavigne song.
What the hell is this anyway?
He cackled meanly. I hoped he didn't find out I was from another time.
Whatever, you don't blame Ebony, you jerk,
Satan said.
Yeah, seriously. She was trying to get Satan and Hedwig back together,
Sirius said deviantly.
Be quiet, you Satanists,
Dumbledore cockled.
If you're lucky, I'll probably send you all to Azkaban. That will teach you to copulate in the Great Hall.
He changed the song on the iPod to an NSYNC song. Suddenly, I noticed something strong about the iPod. It was slowly chonging. Dumbledore didn't notice.
You fucking poser.
I muttoned.
I bet you've never heard of JC,
James said. No, I knew what the iPod was chonging into. Morty McFly's Tim Machine. 1-1.
Shut up, Joms!
Draco's dad shouted.
Yeah, shut up,
Snake said, preppy.
Now you shut up, Dumbledore. 1-1-1-1,
said Tom.
I've had enough of you Satanists in my school,
shouted Dumbledore spuriously. Suddenly, I grabbed the iPod from him.
Everyone, jump in before is too late. I jumped into it, but only one other person jumped in. It was Satan.
You dunderheads! 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1.
1.
1.
Screamed Dumbledore wisely as we went. I looked around. I was in the Slytherin conmen room with Satan. I was wearing a Blake plaid miniskirt with hot pink fishnets, a sexy Blake MCR corset, and Blake stiletto boots with pink pentagrams on them. My earrings were Blake Satanist sins, and my raven hair was all around me to my mid-black.
Hey, cool, where is this?
He asked in an emo voice.
This is the future. Dumbledore's iPod he tried to take away from me was really also a Tim machine,
I told him.
Cool. What's an eye patch?
He whimpered.
It's something you use to listen to music.
I yacked.
OMFG, cool. Wait, what's a four-letter word for dirt?
He asked in his sexa voice.
I guess sand?
I laid confusedly.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure you were still the same person.
He triumphantly giggled. Suddenly, some of my friends walked in. OMG, you're fucking alive, said Ginny, wearing a Blake leather jacket, Blake baggy pants, and a Gothic black from first to last shirt. I explained to her why I was alive.
Konnichiwa, bitch,
said Willow. She was wearing a Blake corset showing off her boobs, with lace all around it and red stripes on it. With it, she was wearing a Blake leather miniskirt, big Blake boots, white foundation, Blake eyeliner, red eyeshadow, and Blake lipstick.
Hey, motherfucker,
said Diabolo with his reed hair. He was wearing a black P?ATD t-shirt and Blake baggy pants. Hey, who's that, Ebony? Bloody Mary questioned as she walked in, wearing a black t-shirt with a red pentagram on it with lace at the bottom, red leather pants, and a Blake lace and black stilettos.
Oh, it's Satan,
I told her, and she nodded, knowing the truth. Suddenly, Satan started to cry. Are you okay, Satan? We asked concernedly.
OMFG, you're from the future, one. What if you don't like anymore, 'cause we're from different times?
He asked.
No, I still like you,
I said sexily to him.
Okay,
he said reassuredly. I let him listen to Teenagers by MCR on my iPod while I was about to go outside to find out some things. I gave Diabolo a signal to keep Satan occupied. Satan fell asleep. I took the iPod. I was about to walk outside. Professor Sinister ran in 1111. She was wearing a gothic Blake mini dress with depressing Blake stripes, white and Blake stripped tights, and red Converse shoes. She was wearing lots of Blake Illiner.
Oh my fucking god, where's Draco? 111. How did Snap get back here? I thought he was in Azerbaijan.
I asked sadly.
Ebony, I was so worried about you, but I know you can't fucking die because you're a vampire. Snape came back because that girl Brittany freed him. I never liked her. She was a bad student.
Travolry said reassuredly.
That bitch! 1-1. Did she also free Hargrid and Lupin?
I shouted angrily. I hated Brittany because she was a fucking prep.
Yes, they're on the loose at the school. Dumbledore is back. Cornelia is on his way to help everyone. Tell everyone you see to lock themselves in their conman room.
Travolry said worriedly.
Okay, but where's Draco? How come he was doing it with Snap?
I don't know why, but I know he almost tried to commit suicide after he saw you almost kill yourself.
Carl said.
Okay, hold on.
That was a good time. Thank you.
Do you want to keep it?
Oh, I'll throw she said in there. She said.
OMG, that's terrible.
I gasped. Satan was still asleep, so he couldn't tell what was going on. Then I said,
Listen, everyone, I have something impotent to do. Everyone stay.
With that, I ran out.
Good luck, Tara.
1-1-1. Everyone cried. I ran sexily down the stairs into the Great Hall, while the portraits around looked at me scaredly. There was hardly anyone else in the stairs, and there was an atmosphere of horror. On the way, I was Brittany laughing on the stairs. She was wearing a slutty pink shirt with flowers on it, a blue jean skirt, Abercrombie and pink style twos. She looked just like a pentagram of those fucking preps, Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan.
You fucking bitch! 1-1-1.
I shouted angrily.
No, you're totally a bitch. Now, Voldemort will likely kill you.
Totally kill you.
Like, do you even know how to Valley Girl?
Channel Liz, you can do it.
No, you're totally a bitch. Now, Voldemort will, totally kill you.
She laughed.
Crucius won.
I shouted selectively, pontificating my Blake want, and she started screaming because she was being tortured, and I laughed sadistically.
No, one, help me, one, please, one.
Brittany screamed, terrified. I put up my middle finger at her. In her hand, I saw the video camera Snape and Lumpen had used to take the video of me. I put the tape of Voldemort doing it with Hedwig onto it. Then I continued to round down the stairs with the camera. When I had reached the Great Hall, I saw Vampire Potter.
OMG, Vampira! 111.
I yielded. We hugged each other happily. He looked at me with his gothic red eyes and Blake hair.
Nope.
It's how it's fucking spelt, man.
We're just gonna say spiky.
Oh, damn it. Hey, what's up?
Clip that.
I will, but I won't send it to anyone.
Oh!
I want that.
What's up, you? Hey! What's up, you? I told you not to come around here anymore. I'll find you, break your fucking kneecaps. You're done!
I'm done.
I need it on a soundboard.
Your safe word is...
You're done!
Oh my god. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, my stars.
I knew that Harry Potter was a...
You're done!
The moment I laid eyes on him.
All right.
I don't trust none of them Italians.
All right, you wasp bastard. Let's do this.
All right.
Case of the vapors.
We hugged each other happily. He looked at me with his gothic red eyes and spiky Blake hair. Around them were Blake eyeliner and eyeshadow. I have to say this because it's lost on those who are not seeing this, but the eyeshadow is put like an iPod, so a small I, capital S for eyeshadow. So this must be very technologically, advanced eyeshadow. But he was with... God almighty, there's no way we're making it through this shit. It's the last one and we're all just gonna have a stroke. Oh, Jesus. Okay. He was wearing a Blake leather Jackson, leader pants, a panique at the disco shirt, and his Blake Congress shoes. He looked more like Joel from Good Charlotte than ever. Parenthetical. Did you hear der song, Da River? It rocks! 1.
I was so worried you died.
Moaned Vampire.
I know, but I'm a vampire, lol. When I woke up, I was back in 1980, so anyway, I bought Voldemort from when he was young with me. Where's Draco?
I asked spuriously.
Draco? You mean the fucking poser who betrayed you?
Vampire snarkled with anger in his sexy voice.
I know, but we have to find him!
I said, smarty. Goddamn dogs.
Dogs didn't like that.
Dogs are... Oh! Who come into the house there?
I'll do it then.
Harry said angstily.
Okay.
I agreed. Suddenly, all the lights in the room went out, and then the dork mark appeared.
Oh my fucking Satan.
Harry shouted.
I think Voldemort had arrived.
I said anxiously.
Fuck, I have to find Draco one. I guess we should separate.
Okay.
Vampire said, disparating. Sadly, I ran into the Great Hall. Holy monkeys, kids.
Okay, so it's 45 chapters?
No, 43 and 44, and they're short.
Thank fuck.
We are 8 pages. Wait, we are 7 pages away.
Don't be a bitch, John.
Oh my god. I just wish, I don't wish, but I wish in this moment that one of your coworkers was just outside of that door and you open the door and they've been standing there for an hour.
Just like listening in abject horror. I'm sorry, horror.
I'm using some words in here. I'm just trying to clean up. Just leave me alone.
Stop, you're making this too hard for me. I have to edit that.
It's the first time you've ever said that in your life, Michael.
Uh...
All right. Chapter 43. I walked sexily into the great hall. It was empty except for one person. Draco was there. He sat in Deddy.
I don't understand what that's supposed to say either.
He sat in deadly bloom in his Blake 666 t-shirt and his baggy pants. He had slit his wrists. 111. I felt mad at him for having sex with Snape, but I felt sorry for him. He looked just like Gerard Way with his red eyes and his pale white face.
Draco, are you okay?
I asked.
I'm not okay.
He screamed depressedly. I thought of the MCR song and I got even more depressed cause that song always makes me cry. I gave him a pot cigarette and he started to smoke it.
Oh, Draco, why did you do it with that fucking bastard Snape?
I asked, teardily. Draco began to say, but suddenly Lupin and Mr. Norris appurated into the room. They didn't see us. Is that me?
I think it's you.
Yes, it was originally John and then we switched to you.
Was this the one I was supposed to be doing the Herbert voice for? I'm just doing Herbert for everybody.
I feel you still do Herbert and it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
I realize that, but yeah, just do it.
Okay,
sure.
Here it comes. I'm so glad me and Snape were freed, said Lupin. I forgot who the fuck I did Filch for.
Did you do him straight on though, as the dude from the movie?
I think so.
No, that was Slugborn. That was Slugborn that you did.
I think I tried to do all of them, so we'll just give it.
Okay, yeah, just do it. Yeah.
Damn, this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking students, Mr. Norris agreed.
Pop Adelum 111.
I yielded angrily, pointing my wand at them. No! What? Lupin shouted as chains came on him. Mr. Norris ran away.
You fucking perv,
I said, laughing with depths of evil and depressedness in my voice.
Now you have to tell us where Voldemort is, or I'm going to torture you.
I don't know where he is. 1111, said Lupin. Suddenly, Satan and Vampire ran into the room. Vampire didn't know who Satan was, really.
Oh my Satan, we were so worried about you guys. 1.
Vampire sighed. I looked sexily at Draco with his gothic red eyes with contacts. Blake t-shirt that said 666 on it, and pale skin like Gerard Way. Vampire with his sexy Blake hair and red eyes, just like Frank Laro. And Satan, who looked just like Brendan Urie then. I selectively took the caramel from my pocket. And then I began Frenching Draco sexily. Lupin gasped. Draco began to take of his clothes off, and I could see his white sex pack. Then Vampire took his own clots off too. We all began making together sexily. I took off my Blake leather bra, my Blake lace thong, and the rest of my clothes. Everyone took their Glocks out, except for me. I am a girl.
I have
Lol.
totally been thinking that she meant like 9mm this entire time, and just now realized that she meant cocks.
Yep.
And my entire understanding of the last couple chapters is completely different.
Mind equals blown, just like a Glock.
Big if true.
That's how Biggie and Pac died. All right. Everyone took their Glocks out, except for me, Emma girl. Lol.
Oh, me Satan! Draco!
I screamed as he put his hardness in my thingy. Then he did the same thing to Harry. I began making out with Satan, and he joined in.
An S 111.
Cried Vampire.
Oh, vampire! Vampire!
I screamed.
Oh, Satan.
Oh, all of you, I'm so turned on right now. Dear God, I'm about to fap myself to pieces. Come on now, Jervis.
Sorry. I just,
Hedwig?
just love that Lupin's just standing there like, okay, well, fine. Orgy, why not? Yelled Harry in pleasaur. Lupin watched in shock. We took turns doing torture curses on him, 'cause we were all sadists. Suddenly, a big Blake car that said 666 on the license plate flew straight through the windows, and Snap was in it. 1-1. Enter the Snap Queen. It's important.
Never thought we'd see this bitch again.
No, indeed. But, we need him. Ugh. Lupin needs a tag team partner.
Didn't know you guys like to fuck. Said you didn't like it.
I like that we're ending with an orgy.
Yeah.
Because why not? I mean,
it's been a reoccurring theme pretty much every other chapter, so...
Now, they should have all cut their wrists and started, sucking on one another's, open wounds whilst doing it.
I mean, there is still time.
I mean, we need to bring it to a pinnacle here.
This is the last chapter? Is there an epilogue?
Nope. This is chapter 44 is the last chapter.
Gentlemen, we have reached a pinnacle.
This is the promised land. I understand Moses now.
I understand those musicians on the Titanic.
I understand
cunt.
As
and there's a section gone.
Sorry, you're welcome, Michael. You understand the musicians where?
On the Titanic.
Cunt.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that actually makes sense. I can just splice whatever Shane is saying with just John saying cunt. I like that, actually.
Yeah, it makes all sense in the world.
It's a subversion of what we did previously.
You can try it out, and if it's very clear that is censoring a slur, then we're not doing it, but I will hear it out because I do think it will sound very fun.
His cunty black hair, yes. I have to say, before we get into this, though, Melissa's favorite delivery of the entirety of this thing was Michael's last week when, after her line, he says, Fuku. It sounds like our cat's noise. Lena has a very high-pitched sort of like, meep. So Fuku is going to live on forever. But all right.
I'm glad.
The very last chapter.
Here.
The next episode. Chapter 44.
Get me car!
Shouted Draco, angrily. But suddenly it was revealed who was in Dakar. It was Snape, as we established the last fucking chapter.
I shall free you, Lupin, but first you must help me kill these idiotic Donderheads,
he said cruelly from the car as it flew circumcising above us.
Ebony, the Arcness, Dementia, Waven Ray must be killed. Then the Dork Lord shall never die.
You fucking prep,
yelled Draco. Then he loped at me, sadly.
I forgot to tell you, Ebony. Snape made me do it with him. I didn't really have sex with him, but he's a ropiest.
We all put our clothes on quickly, except Satan. We were so scarred. But Satan didn't change. Instead, he changed into a man with gren eyes, no S, a gray robe, and white skin. He had changed into Voldemort. 111.
I knew who thou were all along.
He cackled evilly and sarcastically at me.
Now I shall kill thee all.
Thundercam in the room.
Now please don't kill us. Oh, God damn it.
He got too excited there.
I thought he was going to monologue.
I was just waiting for, like, Thundercam. Oh!
All right, from Thunder.
Thundercam in the room.
No, please don't kill us,
pleaded Vampire. Suddenly, Willow, Bloody Mary, Diabolo, Ginny, Dracula, Fred and Gorge, Hagrid, McGonagall, Dumbledore, Sirius, and Lucian all ran in.
What is the meaning of this?
Dumbledore asked all angrily, and Voldemort looked away. Parenthetical. Because Dumbledore is the only wizard he is scared of. He did a spell, and suddenly his broomstick came to him sexily. Volxamort flew above the roof evilly on his broomstick. Oh my god! Slugborn gasped. Parenthetical, get it, 'cause I'm Gothic.
The Dark Lord shall kill all of you. Then you must submit to him.
Snape ejaculated menacingly. You fucking preppy
cunts.
Just want to keep it like that.
Bless you.
Scriptwriter, feel free to say something else instead of that word.
I didn't see it. You know, if you put those notes in front of what I'm reading.
I should have.
That was fun. Thank you, John. All right. Let me. I got it. I got it.
Okay, cool.
You fucking preppy stroopwafels. Sirius shouted angrily.
I know a four-letter word for dirt. Cruciatus!
Screamed Harry, but the sparks from his wand only hit Draco's car. It fell down. Snap quickly crawled out of it and picked up the video camera.
Oh my fucking god. One.
I cried because the video of me in the bathroom, the video of me dong it with Draco, and the video of Satan doing it with...
If you kill me, then these videos will be shown to everyone in the skull. Then you can be just like that gothic girl, Paris Hilton.
He laughed meanly.
No!
I screamed.
FYI, I have the picture of you doing it with Lupin. 1-1.
What's she talking about?
Lupin slurped as he sat in chains.
Oh, Saw 2, she's gonna show everyone the picture. 111.
Harry shouted angrily.
Shut up, 111.
Lumpkin roared.
Foolish ignoramuses.
Yielded Voldemort from his broomstick.
Thou shalt die soon. Think again, you fucking muggle poser. 1.
Harry yelled, and then he and Diabolo and Navel both took out Blake guns. But Voldemort took out his own one.
You guys are in a Latin standoff. 1, 1, 1.
I shouted deperiedly.
Echo Neville's wand. 1, 1.
Cried Voldemort. And suddenly, Neville's wind was in his hands.
Now I shall kill thee, and all in Ebony you will die. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
He made lighting come all over the place. I cried sexily. I just wanted to go to the common room and slip my wrists with me friends while we watched Shark Attack 3 and Saw 2. And do it with Draco, but I knew I had to do something more impotent.
Abracadabra! 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I shooted. And that, friends, listeners, and readers, is the end of the fucking story.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So, firstly, we don't know who she killed. She could have killed herself. She could have killed Voldemort. She could have killed Harry or Draco. She could have finally, killed Draco or killed Harry as she was requested to.
What are you talking about killing? She yelled abracadabra.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't yell Avada.
According to her, it's Avada Kedavra. So,
unless you're not subscribing to that, it's satire.
And she shooted it.
She shitted angrily.
I'm going to answer the question that Michael asked us earlier and say I don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a French fried titty fuck.
Oh, no.
Whether or not this is satire or not. It's excruciating. It's just, it has made me numb in every part of my body. I feel like Meg Myers' second record right now. Third record. 12th record.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about
record.
Meg Ryan.
Yes, Meg Ryan and I were sleepless in Seattle. We both have bad haircuts and bad taste in men.
Oh, my God. We're closing the book on season 2 and My Immortal at the same time.
You mean season 1 we're closing the book on?
Yeah, whatever. I'm dumb.
You're done.
Hey, we're Tim traveling here.
And I feel like I've learned nothing. And I feel like nothing matters and nothing's important. And I can't wait to Tim travel to next week where things have semblance and we've already discussed restructuring and things will sound normal. And if we do this thing again, it'll be on Wednesdays. I need things to make sense, and nothing is making sense right now.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
The world is a vampire. Ebony's day. My brain's destroyed. What in the... Alright. Michael, thank you.
And fuck you. Shane, I've trampled on your job for too long here.
Well, I don't know what else you really want from us. As, we have our free
more episodes.
Organic super slap of an episode here for 52 to take us out on our first year of craziness. But we appreciate you all hanging out. Duwan, thank you for being here. And
hey, man, it was rad.
Thank you.
It was rad. Appreciate
to us rant about random nonsense, and my random experiences in movie theater didn't involve someone soliciting me. So
no Vaseline, baby.
That's what we like.
Callback.
Callback.
Don't call it a callback.
I could finish the lyrics, but I'm not gonna.
I appreciate that. All right. Thank you all for being here as per usual. If you want to check us out on the socials, you can find them wherever the hell you want to, because at this point, I'm done trying to put a gun to everybody's head. So, for the Disinformed podcast, closing season 1 in the most beautiful, hate-filled fajita that we can, I am Shane.
I'm I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
And you
and
are...
Dewan was here for a little bit.
Bless you. So long, and good night.